I'm still surprised all the time when I see people here not prepared for the rain. You should be used to it by now. We're gonna head, I guess, in a different direction where I think it's not raining anyways. And with that in mind, what did I read today? I guess in some places weather is the less of their worries. How about this one with drone strikes? This one says, Moscow, Crimea hit by drone strikes. Russia says as southern Ukraine gets bombarded. As it says here, Russian authorities accused Ukraine of launching a drone attack on Moscow early Monday that saw one of the aircraft fall near the defense ministry's main headquarters, while the Russian military unleashed new strikes on port infrastructure in southern Ukraine. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin said there were no casualties when the drone struck two non-residential buildings in Moscow. In Moscow, Russian media reported that one of the drones fell on Kosmolosky Highway near the capital center, shattering shop windows and damaged roof of a house just about 200 meters away from the towering Riverside Defense Ministry building. The ministry's main headquarters has Panzer air defense systems placed on the roof. That was the interesting thing, because in relations to that, apparently there's a media blackout of sort, or they're trying to discourage them from reporting it. That's what they say here anyways. It says here, Russian TV banned from reporting on Moscow drone attack. Russian television channels have been banned from reporting on the recent drone attack on Moscow. Russian independent news outlets The Insider reported on July 24th, citing unnamed sources within the industry. The report claims that the ban was issued 15 minutes before the 11 a.m. news broadcast, although the 10 a.m. broadcast did cover the attack. Regional channels were asked not to focus on the topic of the drone strike during their broadcasts, but detailed information was left on their web resources, sources add. At the same time, there were no restrictions regarding Ukrainian drone strikes on Crimea. It just makes you think, when it comes to these topics of war, information is, I suppose, one of the battles. People, I guess, controlling it to make you determine, I don't know, who's winning, who's losing, because I guess psychological warfare is a tactic as well, huh? I know a lot of people will say, oh, that's expected there, but I think this happens pretty much everywhere in the world. Doesn't matter where you are to a certain extent. So that's an example of how you need to, I guess, read multiple sources so you can, again, put the pieces together, what's going on. And more stories of people using drone to carry things like drugs. It's always interesting to see which hardware they use. And this one says, Jordanian army downs drone headed from Syria carrying drugs. They say down the drone. What they do is shoot it because it looks like it's pretty intact. It says here, the Jordanian army said on Monday it had shot down a drone carrying drugs from Syria into its northern frontier region in the third such incident in recent weeks. The plane, which was carrying 2 kilos of crystal methamphetamine, was intercepted and down on Jordan's side of the border, it said. It comes a day after army and security chiefs from Jordan and Syria met to discuss ways to curb the growing smuggling problem. Despite pledges from Damascus, Jordan says it has not seen any real attempt to clamp down on the illicit trade. It's one of those things, criminals are going to use them regardless, and you get to find ways to, I guess, counter them. Not everyone else is actually just using it for fun and all that. At the same time, still stories around the world of people using it to kill people in war and so forth, but usually in a lot of places like here anyways, it's people like the average citizen that's attacked, saying, oh, you're gonna spy on them and this and that. Upside down world. And this was kind of interesting where, as you know, Twitter recently got bought out by Elon Musk, and then I was reading recently where apparently they're thinking of rebranding the whole site. Like this one says, Elon Musk rebrands Twitter to X, replaces iconic bird logo. How does that work, huh? It says Twitter owner Elon Musk officially changed the company's famous bird logo to an X on Monday as part of a sweeping rebrand. Musk, who acquired the platform for $44 billion late last year, wrote in a post Sunday that the company would soon bid adieu to the Twitter brand and gradually all the birds. So he did post recently on how he was going to, I guess, remove the Twitter bird, and at the same time afterwards he mentioned how the domain x.com redirects to Twitter, and then all these posts like today saying our headquarters tonight, a big X I guess on the building. I'm just wondering, what's the deal with the X? How does that make sense with this? I guess for his company he does have things like SpaceX, so maybe that's a connection, but I'm just wondering, is that a good idea? You pay all that money essentially for the brand and all that, and now all of a sudden you're getting rid of that? That's gonna be interesting. With that said, it was kind of interesting because Meta, which owns platforms like Facebook and Instagram, recently launched a platform called Threads, which was supposed to be competition for Twitter. And apparently it got so many signups in the beginning, but just like that, it's dying off. Like this one says, Meta-owned Threads sees dip in user engagement. Brands and creators have different views on its future. When Meta launched Threads, it was billed as a Twitter killer as 100 million signed up within days of launch. But just like other rivals to Twitter, Threads seems to be losing traction. New data apps tracking from Sensor Tower indicates the hype has died down, and Threads has seen a 20% decrease in active users and a 50% reduction in spent time in the app, from 20 minutes to 10 minutes. Twitter has seen about a 5% decrease in traffic right after Threads launched earlier this month. It's one of those things, you never know who's gonna end up on top afterwards. But interesting development, I guess, especially with that X and Twitter thing. Let's see how that turns out, huh? And here I thought I was able to get a drone flight in. It wasn't raining, so I was filming the animals. Next thing you know, the rain comes here too. Win some, you lose some, I guess, huh? I went to test for the archive today. Alright, see you guys later.